what is sailing about, really? Wind. And if you want to sail and be a sailor, better get used to wind, and lots of it. Like here. After being put through the wash cycle the day before, we anchored here at Sao Pedro, just south of Mindelo. The wind never really let up, and my snubber line chafed right through, and the snubber itself, about 5 meters deep. Luckily, I had another. I did not want to dive down and look for it. But the best thing is, I had my Mantis anchor. It has consistently held in the fiercest of conditions. The wind clocked a steady 20 knots. Up, and whew, and up. It just kept going up. Fishermen were reinforcing lines because the wind was just incessant. We wanted to go ashore, but there was no way I'd take the dinghy. It could too easily be swept away by the wind and out to sea, so we kept busy. I fixed my reel with fiberglass and resin, and watched those who rejoiced in these conditions. I thought about my cousin Boris, who would love this. He's one of those crazy windsurfers. After 2 days and nights like this, we decided to lift anchor. If there's wind and we got a sailboat, might as well sail. This is Sailor Cam. I won't comment on what you see. This is how you set off. On the way, we saw Flamingo Beach. It's where we camped out a couple of months ago, and where we were heading. It was calm due to the mountains, but I knew it would not last long. It did not. This is sailing. I was happy to have taken 3 reefs. Nat was less happy she had taken some digestive tea. Galopin just forged on, but my bearing was off. We were not heading to the island of Santa Luzia, which was northeast. That was where the wind was coming from. At some point, we would have to tack. For now, I forced Galopin up into the wind as best as he could. We considered continuing on to the next available anchorage on another island, but that was several miles away, and we would have to sail into the night. I realized well too late I'd taken a bad course of action. Eventually, we would have to tack. Feeling better, Nat was up to it.
Well, it's still intense conditions. I made a navigational error. I should have followed the coast of Sao Vicente as much as possible and then cut across. Instead, I just sailed off and came down, and we got carried away too far from our destination, which is Santa Luzia over there. And now we're just making up ground by tacking back and forth directly into the wind, because I just got carried out too far out to sea. So my mistake. Should have done just like we did when we were sailing back from Sant'Antao to Mindelo, because it's basically the same principle. So we've been soaked, tired, and it's just been hammering a steady 25 to 30 knots. A little drop to 16 for an hour or two, but now it's just constant 22, 25 knots with peaks at 27 and 3 reefs, but we're doing pretty good. Getting tired. Wet and salty.
Yeah, I made a big tactical error, and now we suffered for it. But Nat's tummy was much better. She had all hands on deck to help me tack. And we tacked, about 10 times or so. The strategy was to tack when the waves would get bigger on either side of the island. As long as we were behind the island, the waves were moderate, and on either side they'd grow. All this was great for the sake of learning. Our tacks were pretty good, and we pounded our way upwind, soaked and salty. But Galopin was a champion stallion. We both truly love him.
Almost there. Near the final push. Come on, Nat. You can do it.
We had done it. The 3 of us. Now we could just rest for the night. We did not rest so well. Why? Well, you guessed it. The wind. Just watch what happens here. We just get pushed around by that bullying wind. But because of that, we turned around and we saw what most sailors fear most. Pirates. He was approaching from astern, hoping to surprise us, I suppose. He flew skull and crossbones in a Canary Island flag. Canarians are ruthless banditos. Who knows what they're capable of? Maybe try to board us and take my precious cargo of Stumperot rum, steal Nat and keep her as a slave, or take our ship and leave us naked and afraid on the uninhabited and inhospitable island. Me and Nat, left alone, naked on a deserted island. That's simply terrifying. We kept a close eye on him, as he probably kept his one eye on us. He knew we saw him, and he passed by. But we will not let him out of our sight. Even into the night. Maybe he'll have a sight on another prey. A shiny new expensive catamaran. Ever been on a deserted island? We hadn't. And here we were. It's gotta be a bucket list thing to do, no? But which way to go? East. There seemed to be something in that direction. A tide pool. Maybe we can catch some live bait and fish later on. Nah, we're just too inept. There were some dwellings up ahead. Looks like these are shelters for fishermen who probably spend the night here. Well, I'll drink a stumpara to that. This is where I plug a favorite product of mine, my A-liter water shoes. In the process, I almost lost my GoPro with that shot. But back to the shoes, they are simply awesome. I'll show them off better later. We were in a natural reserve. We had heard you need special permission to come here, but back in Mindelo, no one could offer any kind of direction at how to get a permission. Nat went in one direction, and I decided to follow the beach. Time to put the A-liter shoes away. They're so light, you hardly feel them on your feet, nor in your backpack. Haha, guess what I'm scribbling here? My favorite sailing quote. Sailors' plans are written in sand. Never has been a better way to express this. Eventually, that would catch up. And what did we do next? Apparently, it was forbidden.